Bhaktivinoda Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Govinath Shamkund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Hari Ki Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki Shri Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Nrisingadev Bhagavan Ki Shri Nrisingadev Bhagavan Ki Shri Nrisingadev Bhagavan Ki Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for coming for this Nishingadev program here at New Varsanadam, ISKCON Santon. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna, for joining us on this wonderful, warm Tuesday evening in the garden. Such a lovely atmosphere that we have right here. Devotees, before we get into the actual program, I just wanted to say thank you very much for complying with the COVID protocols and for maintaining the distance between your chairs. I'm not going to go through the protocols because we've heard them many times and you've accepted them on the links that you used to register. One thing I would just like to make notice is that on your left, you'd notice there's a table with some cups there. Those devotees that have been fasting or have not been fasting as well, you're welcome to take some of the maha that came from the Abhishek that was held earlier from Nishingadev Abhishek, as well as some jaggery juice that is prepared for you. So there's 2 cups. If I could ask you if you would like, you're welcome to, individually go and pick up one of those, and you're welcome to have something to quench your thirst and to break your fast if you have as well. But after the program with Maharaj and the Aarti, we will serve prasadam for you to have takeaway. Thank you very much. His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj ki.
Srila Prabhupada ki. Shri Nrisingadev Bhagavan ki. Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki. Gaur Premanande. Yes, well, welcome devotees. How nice that so many of you have come. I know it's step by step getting colder these evenings. So thank you for braving it. And it's Nishinga Chaturdashi, the appearance day of Lord Nrisingadev. And of course, as we've mentioned before, it's the disappearance day of Hiranyakashipu. So it's very auspicious all round. So let us go through, let us take some highlights from the pastime of the appearance of Lord Nishingadev, his relationship with Prahlad. One question which devotees do ask sometimes is that if, as Lord Krishna does say in Bhagavad Gita, Antakale chamam eva smaran mukva kalevaram, that if we remember him at the time of death, then we'll attain to his nature. And yam vapi smaran muktvam kalevaram. Whatever you remember at the time of death, you will take birth according to that. So devotees do ask sometimes, how is it that Prahlad Maharaj took birth as the son of Hiranyakashipu? They are polar opposites, you could say. Prahlad Maharaj is just one of the great devotees of all time. And Hiranyakashipu is probably actually the great demon of all time. So how does someone like Hiranyakashipu get to have a son like Prahlad, and how does a great devotee like Prahlad get to have a father like Hiranyakashipu? It's an interesting question, isn't it? There is a description. There's a description, listen to this, that when Hiranyakashipu was doing his great austerities, if you're probably familiar that he stood on the tips of his toes with his arms outstretched above his head for hundreds of years, even thousands of years actually. So as he was doing that, Narada Muni and Parvat Muni, they're two, of course, Narada Muni we've all heard of. Parvat Muni is also, he's a close associate of Narada and another very great devotee. They were aware of what was going on, and Lord Brahma had asked them, see if you can stop him, because he's just going to become too powerful. See if you can stop him. But what could they do? So what they did do, actually, they assumed the forms of birds. And right there, where Hiranyakashipu was doing his austerities, they started singing not actually the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but another mantra. It's very similar, it's related. Not quite the same, not quite on the same level as the Mahamantra, but still, it's a great mantra. Omnimo Narayanaya, which basically means I offer my obeisances to Lord Narayan. So they were singing and singing and singing this mantra for years as Hiranyakashipu was standing there with his arms up and all that. And at one point, you see, Hiranyakashipu's austerities were divided into two parts. This was the first part, and then he came home. And then a little later he came back and continued. So when he came home, after the first period of austerity, he had this mantra in his head. It was just going round and round and round because he had heard it and heard it and heard it thousands and thousands and thousands of times from Narada Muni and Parvat Muni. So he came home and he wanted to conceive a child with his main wife, whose name was Kayadu. So they were in the process of conceiving Prahlad, and Hiranyakashipu couldn't get it out of his mind. Omnimo Narayanaya, Omnimo Narayanaya. So right at the time of conception, he was chanting that mantra, which is a very important Krishna conscious mantra. And right at that moment, Prahlad was conceived. And this is how a demon, terrible person like Hiranyakashipu was able to become the father of a great, great devotee like Prahlad. So anyway, the story goes that the second time, when Hiranyakashipu went out the second time, now the wife, Kayadu, is pregnant with Prahlad. And Hiranyakashipu went out the second time and continued with the same austerities. So he became so powerful. He started influencing the functions of the universe and disrupting the functioning of the universe. So it reached such a point that Lord Brahma had to come to do something to stop him. Otherwise, it would have just created like some serious malfunction. he didn't actually attack Lord Brahma. Maybe that would have probably come later. But he went back home, and you remember we said that his wife Kayadu was at home when he went out the second time to do austerities. She was at home and she was expecting Prahlad. So, as the time was going on and the pregnancy was going on, it's also described in the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam, actually, that Lord Indra and the demigods attacked the kingdom of Hiranyakashipu. He was not there, Hiranyakashipu. He was doing his austerities, the second round. But his wife Kayadu was there, she was pregnant. And Lord Indra and the demigods came and they just smashed everything. And they found her, the wife or the main wife of Hiranyakashipu, pregnant. And they looked at her and they all understood, or at least they all thought, this is the child of Hiranyakashipu, must be a demon, let's just kill her. Let's just kill her. They were about to kill her. But then Narada Muni came on the scene. Narada Muni comes on the scene so many times, so many places, so many situations. So he arrived here and said, no, don't kill her. In her womb is a great devotee. Let me take her. So Narada took Kayadu, the main wife of Hiranyakashipu, back to his ashram. And there in the ashram, he read Srimad Bhagavatam to her. And she didn't really get it so much. But Prahlad, within her womb, he heard everything. And he really took it in to his heart. So by the time that he actually took birth, he was a fully God-conscious person, fully Krishna-conscious person. So when Hiranyakashipu returned from his second round of austerities, Kayadu went home and Prahlad came with her. And Hiranyakashipu was very happy. I've got this nice son. And actually they had other sons, a few other sons. But Prahlad quickly became the favorite of Hiranyakashipu. Although at this point, even though Prahlad's such a great devotee, he was not manifesting himself as a devotee. He was just like a typical little child, basically. Until he started going to school. And even in the beginning at school, it seemed he was doing okay. They had special schools for the children of the big demons. Schools where you learn how to lie with a smile on your face. How to cheat someone with a smile on your face. How to divide and rule. All these types of fine points of demoniac diplomacy and politics. So Prahlad was going through this educational process, and at one point, Hiranyakashipu, still unsuspecting that Prahlad's a devotee, he asked the teachers, Sanda and Amarka, please bring Prahlad here. I want to see how he's doing. I want to speak to him. So Prahlad came, and Hiranyakashipu asked him the famous question, Prahlad, tell me, what is the best thing you've learned at school? And you know what Prahlad answered? Shravanam kirtanam Vishnu, smaranam padasevanam, archanam vandanam dasyam sakyam, atma nivedanam, which means, this is a famous verse from the 7th canto, hearing, chanting, and remembering Lord Vishnu, serving his lotus feet, worshipping him, offering prayers to him, befriending him, serving him, and surrendering everything to him. Now, Hiranyakashipu, when he heard this, it was too much for him. It was simply too much. Because he's a great atheist. He's a great demon. As far as he's concerned, he's the greatest person. Everyone should hear about him, glorify him, serve him. So he got extremely angry. Extremely angry. And he decided, I'm going to have this boy killed. Prahlad is only 5. But this was the decision of Hiranyakashipu because he hated Vishnu so much that if anyone ever uttered the name of Vishnu, that was it. That was the end. So Hiranyakashipu decided to have Prahlad killed. And he tried in a number of ways. First of all, he got a group of mad elephants, wild, crazy, aggressive elephants. And he had Prahlad put in the middle of them. And normally they would just trample anyone if anyone got close to them. But when Prahlad was put there in the middle of them, they became very peaceful and nice. And they became like pet elephants. And Prahlad was really happy. And he told Hiranyakashipu, "What nice elephants! They're my friends." And Hiranyakashipu couldn't believe it. How did this child pacify these elephants? It's impossible. This child must have some special powers. So then they tried other things. They threw Prahlad into a pit of very poisonous snakes who would normally just immediately bite anyone. If they're friends or enemies, doesn't matter, they just bite. But the snakes became like domestic pets and very peaceful and friendly. And they're sort of crawling over Prahlad, embracing Prahlad. Prahlad was playing with them. And Hiranyakashipu was watching, and he couldn't believe it. How did this child do it? And he became more and more anxious. This child has some incredible powers. I've never seen powers like this. And Prahlad didn't want to be separated from the snakes. He wanted to play with them. Then Hiranyakashipu had Prahlad thrown off a cliff, and Prahlad sailing down through the air, and Krishna caught him at the bottom and put him very gently down there at the bottom. And Hiranyakashipu was looking out to see where's the dead body when Prahlad came up the cliff. And Prahlad told Hiranyakashipu, "That's a nice game, the flying game. Daddy, I want to do the flying game again." And there are various other things happened. Some warriors came with their swords and spears to try to pierce him and hack him and all that. But their weapons became like super cheap Chinese children's plastic, swords and things. As soon as you touch it, it bends. So, and Prahlad said, "Oh, I like playing this game." Finally, at this point, Hiranyakashipu cooked up a very nice potato sabji, aloo dum, if you're familiar with aloo dum. But he put in it enough poison to kill 100 elephants. And then he fed it to Prahlad. And Prahlad offered it to the Lord and started eating. And Hiranyakashipu was watching, waiting for him just to drop dead. But Prahlad, he was eating, and it was great. And Hiranyakashipu was asking, "How do you feel?" And Prahlad said, "I feel great, nice prasad." And at the end, he asked for more. So by this time, Hiranyakashipu was in distress. How is this child so powerful? How can he do these things? It's impossible. How does he do it? Where does he get his power from? So anyway, even though Hiranyakashipu was so angry hearing Prahlad say that we should hear and chant about Vishnu and remember him and serve him, even though Hiranyakashipu was so angry and just wanted to kill him, but now being impressed by Prahlad, he decided not to kill him, and he sent him back to school. So Prahlad went back to school with Sunda and Amarka were the teachers. So, when Prahlad had first been at school, he was not preaching. He wasn't really doing anything. He was just one of the boys in the class. But now, the second time, when he was sent back by Hiranyakashipu, now Prahlad started preaching to these children who were the sons of the main demons, the sons of the biggest demons. Prahlad started preaching, and they became devotees. And they'd have these big, whenever the teachers would step out of the classroom, they'd start a big Hare Krishna kirtan, roaring kirtan. And when the teacher came back and opened the door of the classroom, they'd stop. But the teachers knew what was going on. So these teachers were in great anxiety that if Hiranyakashipu finds out what Prahlad is doing to these other boys, Hiranyakashipu will kill all of us. He'll kill us. He'll kill all the boys. So they took Prahlad. They took Prahlad to Hiranyakashipu and told Hiranyakashipu, we're really sorry, but we don't know what to do with this boy. So now Hiranyakashipu is just so beyond angry. I am going now, devotees, I am going to read some verses. These are verses from the 9th chapter of the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is where it all comes to a complete climax. So I think this is verse 8. Well, actually, you know what I can do? I can just open the Bhagavatam. Yeah, 7th canto, chapter 9. Oh no, chapter 8. Chapter 8. 7th canto, chapter 8. And let's see which verse it is. Let me just get the right verse here. So 7th canto, chapter 8, verse 2. Verse 2. And this will lead us up to the whole climax, so please listen carefully. When Sandra and Amaka, the sons of Shukracharya, observed that all the students, the sons of the demons, were becoming advanced in Krishna consciousness because of the association of Prahlad Maharaj, they were afraid. They approached the king of the demons and described the situation as it was. Verses 3 and 4. When Hiranyakashipu understood the entire situation, he was extremely angry. So much so that his body trembled. Thus, he finally decided to kill his son Prahlad. Hiranyakashipu was by nature very cruel, and feeling insulted, he began hissing like a snake trampled upon by someone's foot. His son Prahlad was peaceful, mild, and gentle. His senses were under control, and he stood before Hiranyakashipu with folded hands. According to Prahlad's age and behavior, he was not to be chastised. Yet, with staring, crooked eyes, Hiranyakashipu rebuked him with the following harsh words. Verse 5, Hiranyakashipu said, "O most impudent, most unintelligent disruptor of the family, O lowest of mankind, you have violated my power to rule you, and therefore you are an obstinate fool. Today I shall send you to the place of Yamaraj." Verse 6. "My son Prahlad, you rascal, you know that when I am angry, All the planets of the three worlds tremble, along with their chief rulers. By whose power has a rascal like you become so impudent that you appear fearless and overstep my power to rule you? Prahlad replies, my dear, this is verse, 7, just next verse. My dear king, the source of my strength, of which you are asking, is also the source of yours. Indeed, the original source of all kinds of strength is one. He is not only your strength or mine, but the only strength for everyone. So like this, Prahlad's explaining. Verse 8, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the supreme controller and time factor, is the power of the senses, the power of the mind, the power of the body, and the vital force of the senses. His influence is unlimited. He is the best of all living entities, the controller of the three modes of material nature. By his own power, he creates this cosmic manifestation, maintains it, and annihilates it also. Prahlad Maharaj continued. This is next verse, 9. My dear father, please give up your demoniac mentality. Do not discriminate in your heart between enemies and friends. Make your mind equipoised towards everyone. And verse 10. This is a good one. Listen to this. This is Prahlad to his father, Prahlad aged 5. In former times, there were many fools like you who did not conquer the 6 enemies that steal away the wealth of the body. The 6 enemies are the 5 senses and the mind. These fools were very proud, thinking, I've conquered all enemies in all the 10 directions. But if a person is victorious over the 6 enemies and is equipoised toward all living entities, for him there are no enemies. Enemies are merely imagined by one in ignorance. Hiranyakashipu replied, this is verse 11, you rascal, you're trying to minimize my value as if you were better than me at controlling the senses. This is over-intelligent. I can therefore understand that you desire to die at my hands. For this kind of nonsensical talk is indulged in by those about to die. And verse 12, O most unfortunate Prahlad, you've always described a supreme being other than me, a supreme being who's above everything, who's the controller of every one, and who's all-pervading. But where is he? If he's everywhere, then why is he not present before me in this pillar? Because you are speaking so much nonsense, I shall now sever your head from your body. Now, let me see your most worshipable God come to protect you. I want to see it. So, we're at text 14. being obsessed with anger, Hiranyakashipu, who was very great in bodily strength, thus chastised his exalted devotee son Prahlad with harsh words. Cursing him again and again, Hiranyakashipu took up his sword, got up from his royal throne, and with great anger struck his fist against the column. Well, we have a pillar here. You probably can't see much of it. Can you imagine? Would you like to? Have a go. Wallop it. See if you can smash the pillar. So, yeah, Hiranyakashipu, with great anger, struck his fist against the column. Verse 15. Then from within the pillar came a fearful sound, which appeared to crack the covering of the universe. This sound reached even the abodes of the demigods, like Lord Brahma. And when the demigods heard it, they thought, oh, now our planets are being destroyed. While showing his extraordinary prowess, Hiranyakashipu, who desired to kill his own son, heard that wonderful tumultuous sound, which had never before been heard. Upon hearing the sound, the other leaders of the demons were afraid. None of them could find the origin of the sound in the assembly, because you see, Hiranyakashipu has smashed the pillar, and it's partially broken. But Lord Nishingadev is still inside the pillar. And the sound is his like shrieking sound. But no one can see him. He's still inside the pillar. And so they don't know where is this horrendous sound coming from. To prove that the statement of his servant Prahlad Maharaj was substantial, in other words, to prove that the Supreme Lord is present everywhere, even within the pillar of an assembly hall, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, exhibited a wonderful form, never before seen. The form was neither that of a man, nor that of a lion. Thus the Lord appeared in his wonderful form in the assembly hall. While Hiranyakashipu looked all around to find the source of the sound, that wonderful form of the Lord, which could not be ascertained to be either a man or a lion, emerged from the pillar. In amazement, Hiranyakashipu wondered, what is this creature that is half man and half lion? And this is 19 to 22. This is a description of Lord Nishingadev. Hiranyakashipu studied the form of the Lord, trying to decide who the form of Nishingadev standing before him was. The Lord's form was extremely fearsome because of his angry eyes, which resembled molten gold, his shining mane, which expanded the dimensions of his fearful face, his deadly teeth, and his razor-sharp tongue, which moved about like a dueling sword. His ears were erect and motionless, and his nostrils and gaping mouth appeared like caves of a mountain. His jaws parted fearfully, and his entire body touched the sky. His neck was very short and thick, his chest broad, his waist thin, and the hairs on his body as white as the rays of the moon. His arms, which resembled flanks of soldiers, spread in all directions as he killed the demons, rogues, and atheists with his conch shell, disc, club, lotus, and other natural weapons. Hiranyakashipu murmured to himself, Lord Vishnu, who possesses great mystic power, has made this plan to kill me. But what is the use of such an attempt? Who can fight with me? Thinking like this and taking up his club, Hiranyakashipu attacked the Lord like an elephant. Just as a small insect falls forcefully into a fire and the insignificant creature becomes invisible, when Hiranyakashipu attacked the Lord, who was full of effulgence, Hiranyakashipu became invisible. 25. Thereafter, the great demon Hiranyakashipu, who was extremely angry, swiftly attacked Nrisingadev with his club and began to beat him. Lord Nrisingadev, however, captured the great demon along with his club, just as Garuda might capture a great snake. 26. O Yudhisthira, O great son of Bharat, when Lord Nrisingadev gave Hiranyakashipu a chance to slip from his hand, just as Garuda sometimes plays with a snake and lets it slip from his mouth, the demigods who had lost their abodes and who were hiding behind the clouds for fear of the demon did not consider that incident very good. Indeed, they were perturbed. When Hiranyakashipu was freed from the hands of Nrisingadev, he falsely thought that the Lord was afraid of his prowess. Therefore, after taking a little rest from the fight, he took up his sword and shield and again attacked the Lord with great force. Fasten your seatbelts, everyone. Stay sitting down. Yeah. Making a loud, shrill sound of laughter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan, who is extremely strong and powerful, captured Hiranyakashipu, who was protecting himself with his sword and shield, leaving no gaps open. With the speed of a hawk, Hiranyakashipu moved sometimes in the sky and sometimes on the earth, his eyes closed because of fear of Nrisingadev's laughter. As a snake, this is verse 29, as a snake captures a mouse, or Garuda captures a very venomous snake, Lord Nrisingadev captured Hiranyakashipu, who could not be pierced even by the thunderbolt of King Indra. As Hiranyakashipu moved his limbs here, there, and all around, very much afflicted at being captured, Lord Nrisingadev placed the demon on his lap, supporting him with his thighs, and in the doorway of the assembly hall, the Lord very easily tore the demon to pieces with the nails of his hand. Shri Nrisingadev Bhagavan Ke. Shri Nrisingadev Bhagavan Ki. Shri Nrisingadev Bhagavan Ki. And last verse I'll read. The next verse is 30. Lord Nrisingadev's mouth and mane were sprinkled with drops of blood, and his fierce eyes full of anger were impossible to look at. Licking the edge of his mouth with his tongue, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Nrisingadev, decorated with a garland of intestines taken from Hiranyakashipu's abdomen, resembled a lion that has just killed an elephant. Hare Krishna. Wow, that's a dramatic story. But this is Lord Nishingadev. He's the protector. He's our protector. And whenever we get into difficulty, if ever or whenever, we must pray to Lord Nrisingadev. We can pray to Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, but Nrisingadev is a special form of Krishna that he manifests when the devotee is in difficulty. He manifests to give the devotee protection. And Prabhupada, when he was first in America, the first couple of few years, one time he had something like a stroke, a mild stroke or something like that. And he was hospitalized. And the devotees asked Prabhupada, is there something we can do, like some special prayer or something to Krishna? And that was when Prabhupada taught the devotees the Nrisingadev prayers. So those prayers are specifically there for when we're in difficulty or even in danger. And that form of the Lord as Nrisingadev is especially there to help us when we get into danger. So today is Nishingadev's appearance day. And we can pray to Lord Nrisingadev. Please protect us. Please protect all your devotees. And help us. The last little thing I'll mention is there's a verse, famous verse, in the 5th canto, chapter 18, verse 8. I won't go through the whole verse, but there Prahlad is praying, and he's praying to Lord Nishingadev, please protect me. Please protect me from my demon-like desires for fruitive activity. And please drive away my ignorance so I can become fearless in this world. So we can pray to Lord Nrisingadev if there is some actual like physical danger. But we can also pray to Lord Nishingadev, please protect me from my own conditioned tendencies, my own tendencies to become attracted to the material world. Because we all know those tendencies, they're real, and we have been conditioned in this world for a long time, and old habits die hard. And it takes time to get free from those material tendencies. I think we all know that. But we can pray to Lord Nrisingadev for that also. Please protect me from my own tendencies to gravitate towards material life. And protect me from my own ignorance. So, there you go, devotees. Shri Nrisingadev Bhagavan Ki. Shri Nishingadev Bhagavan Ki. Shri Nishingadev Bhagavan Ki. Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki. Go Premanande.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for a wonderful class, Maharaj. His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj Ki. Maharaj, there's just one question for tonight. The question is, Maharaj, what is the difference between praying to Lord Nishingadev versus praying to Lord Ganesha?
Oh. Well, you know, Lord Nishingadev, of course, is the Supreme Lord, so he's the ultimate powerful. Lord Ganesh is a demigod. He doesn't have the same power at all. But we understand that Ganesh is a devotee of Lord Nrisingadev. And whatever power he has to remove obstacles and things like that, which Ganesh is known for, whatever power he has like that, he gets from Lord Nrisingadev. So if we need that sort of mercy, some protection, obstacles removed, that sort of thing, rather than approach Ganesh, we should go right to the source. Go right to Lord Nishingadev. That's where it's all coming from. Yeah. So it's like that. Rather than go to the smaller person down the line, go to the top. Because Lord Nishingadev is waiting. He wants to protect his devotees. So if we need protection and we turn to him, he's very happy to help us. So we should do like that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. I have a few announcements and then we move to the next part of the program. So devotees, thank you very much. Maharaj, thank you very much for the wonderful class. And it's a little bit of a bittersweet evening today because this is the last program in ISKCON Centre by Maharaj until he comes back. Also, the temples will be closing down from tomorrow as well as per GBC regulations with the potential third wave that's coming in. So we will be moving on to online classes here onwards. Devotees, there's a lot of people that have been, devotees have been assisting in the course of today to make today a success. I would just like to just make a note and personally thank some of the individuals that were working here. To name each and every one is going to be a very tough job, but we firstly like to thank the kirtaniers for the wonderful kirtan, both on the bottom as well as the top. The devotees have been performing the Abhishek as well as the preparation for that. Thank you very much. The COVID marshals who have been doing a stunning job every single program that we have here at ISKCON Centre. The logistics team that have been assisting with the planning and coordination of this evening. The deco team for putting up this wonderful altar that we have out here and for this wonderful Nishingadev poster that we have as well. So thank you to the deco team. Today, the Take Care of Srila Prabhupada sponsor has been Soloni, Naidu and family. Let's raise our hands and let's give them a big Haribol.
Haribol.
Try. Devotees, today's prasadam is the feast. There's a lot of prasadam that has been cooked today, lots of variety of prasadam. And this was only possible by all the individual devotees that have come to assist and help. There have been devotees that have been sponsoring by Lakshmi. There's been devotees that have been sponsoring by cooking at home and bringing through to the temple. Devotees that have been assisting in helping us to cook the boga for the Maha packs that is on sale and available. Bhagava Prabhu is waiting up there for you. So as soon as you get out from here, please grab yourself. There's the last 5 or 10 packs that are left of the Maha Nishingadev offering that we have. For 120 rands, you get a lot of sugar into your arteries. Okay, so try and stress test your arteries this evening if you want to do that. Devotees, so the prasadam today has been cooked by multiple devotees. The cooks that were in the kitchen today, Shamagori Mataji, Maxine, Shanita Mataji, and Gangotri Mataji. So again, let's raise our hands for all these wonderful devotees helping us, and let's go and appreciate them by saying Nitai Gaura Premanande
Haribo.
Jai. So devotees, it's not prasadam time yet. I know that some of you have been fasting. There is some liquids that we can assist and help you with for now, but the next part of the program is going to be our Aarti, and after Aarti it'll be followed by Prashadam, which is for takeaway. And when you take your Prashadam, we just also advise you to please take your Prashadam and leave, and try not to congregate in the temple premises. Maharaj, are we eating japa as well?
We're not having japa this evening.
Okay. All right, devotees, so you can skip the japa and attend to the sense gratification of enjoying the prasadam. But with that being said, Maharaj, on behalf of ISKCON Sanatan, thank you for all the time that you've made for us devotees here, for giving us your wonderful association, for making the time consistently for us to get your darshan. And even though we will have the opportunity to get your darshan online, it's just not the same when we see you here in person. So we will come and meditate. I think most of the devotees here, when we do our japa, we probably look at this picture and remember Maharaj, so that we can concentrate and improve our sadhanas also. Maharaj, thank you so much for being here on behalf of all the devotees here. His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj Ki! Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
We will be back in a little while. Okay, devotees, so let us stand up for the arati. Yeah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastya Chadejatarine. Prabhupada. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gabhakta Vrenda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gabhakta Vrenda. Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gabhakta Vrenda Chaitanya Nityananda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Narasimhaya, Pralada Lada Dayane. Hiranyakashipu Bhaksha, Silatam Kanakalaye, Eto Nrisinga Parato Nrisinga, Yato Yamitato Nrisinga, Bahir Nrisinga, Hridaya Nrisinga, Narasimhamadim Sharanam Prapadye, Tavakara Kamalavare, Nakamat Bhutasringam, Dalita Hiranyakashipu, Tanubringam, Keshavadrita, Narahari Rupa, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare. Nrisingadev, 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 Kesavadrita Narahari Rupa, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Nrisingadev, Jai Nrisingadev, Jai Nrisingadev, Jai Nrisingadev. Jai Nrisingadev, Jai Nrisingadev, Nrisingadev, Jai Nrisingadev. Jai Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Prahlad Maharaj. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Nrisingadev Bhagavan Ke, Shri Nrisingadev Bhagavan Ke, Shri Nrisingadev Bhagavan Ke, Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ke, Srila Prabhupada Ke, Go Premanande. Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. Hare Krishna. Some more? Go get some Nishingadev Mahaprasadam. Yeah, I think they're slowly leaving.